So hi there everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you how I make my solid granny squares. Now some people do these differently. I'm just going to show you how I make mine. I tend to start and finish each row in the corner, whereas a lot of people start theirs on the side. I just find it easier to do it in the corner, so that's the way that I'm going to show you. So let's get started. So you are going to need your yarn. I'm going to be showing you using Stylecraft Special DK. This particular shade, just for reference, is Sage. I'm also going to use a 4.5mm hook. Now normally with double knit I tend to use a 4mm hook, but just so that my stitches are slightly larger, just for reference, I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook. You will need a small pair of scissors and a darning needle to sew in your ends. So like my traditional granny square, these squares are worked in the round. So we start off by forming a circle, and then each round out you can carry on and make your square as large or as small as you want. So today I'm going to show you just the first 3 rounds, and then you can carry on to whatever size you want. So we're going to start off by making that circle, and I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. So I do it by wrapping my yarn around those 2 fingers, pull the yarn across, then I go underneath, grab the yarn with my hook, pull my fingers out, and there I have my slip knot on my hook, but you can do that however you like to do that. Now I'm going to start this demonstration square off with a chain of 5. Normally I do actually just do a chain of 4, but because I want you to be able to see that centre circle, I'm going to do an added chain. So I have chained 5. So to join this and make a loop, what we're going to do is you push your hook through that chain that's the farthest from your hook, grab that yarn, pull it through, and the one that is on your hook, so you have done a slip stitch. And then if I open that circle up, you can see there we are going to be working this first round in this centre hole here. So I'm going to start off our round 1 with a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now this chain up of 5 will count as 1 treble and a corner of 2. If you use US terminology, that is 1 double and a chain of 2. What I'm also going to do as I go round this centre is I'm going to hold my tail, and then I'm going to work over that so that gets rid of the tail. So I'm just going to turn my work slightly, and I'm going to do a cluster of 3 trebles through the centre hole. Again, that is doubles if you're in the US. So just to recap on a treble, it is yarn over first. Then I'm going to push through that centre, grab my yarn, pull it back through that centre so I have 3 stitches on my hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. So that's my first treble. Okay, and if you see, I'm working over my end as I go around. So to make this first cluster of 3, I need another 2 trebles. So that's 1, 2. If you struggle getting your tail there within the stitches, don't worry, you can just sew that in later. So what I've got here now is I've got a treble, I've got a corner of 2, and then I have a cluster of 3 trebles. Now the corners on this square are just a chain of 2. I'm then going to rotate my work and I'm going to put another cluster of 3 trebles through this center. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then I need to do another corner, which is just going to be a chain of 2, turn my work, and then I'm going to do another cluster of 3 trebles through that center. I'm still working over my end. If you find that annoying, just flick it out of the way. There we go. So what we have here is I've got my 3 clusters, I've got my 3 corners. We need to join this whole thing together. So I'm going to go around the corner first, turn my work. Now this original chain 3 ups counted as 1 treble. So in this cluster here, we just need to put another 2 trebles. Sorry, I knocked the camera there. That made it wobble a little bit, sorry. So then what we're going to do is join. So on this original where we did this chain 5, if you count 1, 2, 3 chains up, that is where we are going to join. So all you're going to do is a slip stitch. So push your yarn through the top of that stitch, pull the yarn through and the one that is on your hook, and then you have joined your round 1. Now what I want to do before I start round 2 is I'm going to slip stitch into my corner, and then I will be in the right position to start round 2. So again, push your hook through, grab that yarn, pull it through, and the one that is on your hook, I am going to give a tug on that original tail, which will close up that center. And if I just take my hook out, there you go, you can pull those corners out flat with your fingers. We have made our round 1. Okay, so now I'm going to show you round 2. And again, we are going to start with doing a chain of 5. We're going to start every round with a chain of 5, which counts as that first treble up and the first corner, which is a chain 2. I'm then going to rotate and I'm going to put another 2 trebles in that corner. So that's 1, 2. Now this is where it starts to be a little bit different, and it's not the same as the traditional granny square. What we are going to do is we are going to work along the top of these stitches. So very often what I tend to do is these 2 here, these 2 trebles here, I tend to pull them to one side so that I make sure I am going in that first stitch. So it's in the top of that first stitch. If you can see, that is the top of the V. So that V stitch at the top of those stitches, these 3 going along, this is how we are going to work this second round. So we're literally going to do a treble in the top of that stitch, a treble in the top of that next stitch, and a treble in the top of that next stitch. Okay, then we've got to our corner. We are going to do 2 trebles, 1 and 2. We are going to chain 2 to make our corner, Then we're going to rotate our work. Then we are going to do another 2 trebles in that corner. 1, 2. And then again, I make sure I pull those 2 across. It just, sometimes these get so bunched up, I don't want you to miss the top of this first stitch. So again, you can see that we're going to work in these 1, 2, 3 in the top of these 3 trebles from the first round. So it's 1 treble in that stitch, 1 treble in that stitch, and 1 treble in that stitch. Again, we've got to our corner, so it's 2 trebles, 1 and 2, chain of 2 to go around the corner, turn your work, another 2 trebles to finish that corner. So to finish this round, you're going to carry it along doing exactly the same. So each of these trebles from the last round, we're going to put a treble in the top of each of those stitches. And then when we get to the corner, we are going to do 2 trebles, a chain of 2, 2 trebles, and then I will meet you along here and show you how to join. So I have gone along, I have done my 3 trebles in the top of these 3 trebles from the round before. I just now want to finish off this corner. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 treble in that corner. And then because we started with this chain of 5, the first 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, count as our treble. I am going to do a slip stitch in that chain 3 up. So that's pull the yarn through and the one that's on your hook. And then we have finished in the corner. What I want to do again now before we do round 3 is I want to do another slip stitch in that corner, so push through, grab the yarn, pull it through, and the one that's on your hook. And there we have it. We have done our round 2. So again, I've just taken my hook out. Each time you go around, I just want to explain, just so that you can check and make sure you're on the right track. The stitches that you have along the sides are going to increase each time by 4. So this first round we had 3. This second round we now have 7 stitches, and we'll do a count at the end of round 3. We should have, if I show you on this one, going along, you should have 11 stitches. So each time you go out, the amount of stitches just along this edge should increase each time by 4. Okay, so let's crack on with round 3. So again, we are going to start with a chain of 5. So that's 1 treble and your chain of 2 to go around the corner. So we're going to do 2 trebles in that corner. 1, 2, and then this time you see we have 7 stitches to work in. So again, I just make sure these are pulled across so that I get into that first stitch. So it's just a question of working a treble. You've got the idea now, in the top of each of those stitches. So I will work all the way along. So this time we've got 7 stitches to work into. All the way along to the last one. If you're unsure, you can just have a count. So remember, these first two are in the corner, so don't count those. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 stitches. So now we know we're in the corner. So it's 2 trebles, a chain of 2, 2 trebles. So you should have got the idea. So what I'd like you to do is work your way along. So you'll have 7 stitches to do along here. Into the corner, so it's 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. You'll have 7 stitches to work along here. Do the corner, and then I will meet you on this final side here. So I have worked along my final edge here. So you can see I finished the corner off with those 2 trebles. I worked a further 7 stitches. Now I need to finish this corner off. So I'm going to put 1 treble into that corner. This chain 5 started me off with my first treble and the corner. So we just count 3 chains, 1, 2 and 3. That's where I do my slip stitch. And then I have joined round 3. Now if I'm going to carry on, I do another slip stitch into this corner and then I just repeat what we've done. But I just want to fasten this off. So I'm going to do a chain of 1. Whoops. Take my hook out. Chop my yarn and then just pull that through. So again, like I said before, each time, because we're putting 2 trebles on the end, I mean they're going in the corner, but they are adding to this stitch count. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So as we go out, once you've done round 4, sorry, you should have an extra 4. So you will have 15 of these stitches going along, and then it will continue like that because we're adding these 2 which go in our corners each time. The stitch count along your edges should go up by 4 each time. It is worth just checking. If you're a beginner, it is worth just checking on that, and then you will know that you're on the right track. So all I'm going to do now is just thread my darning needle. Now I like to take this end through to the other side, so I just do that so that when I flip I'm working on the back. And then I just use the back of these stitches just to hide my ends. So if you've seen me do this before, you will know that I like to go one way, the other way, and then the other way again. I like to go both ways because if this work stretches, the ends shouldn't come out. So just another couple of stitches that way. Then I tend to go to and fro 3 times just to make sure, catching the yarn on the other side, on the back side. And then just chop off as close to your work as possible. Just be careful you don't snip your work. I'm going to weave this tail end here as well. I'm going to go under these stitches back round, and that'll be us done. So there we go, I've woven in my ends, and there we've got our solid granny square, and as you can see I've been making up a few. So far I've got them to round 4. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with mine at the moment, but I'm just going to make some more in pastel colours, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll show you how I join them all together. Now you can just keep going out until you have enough for maybe a cushion cover. You can keep going out and do a blanket. I have seen people make these into washcloths if you make them out of cotton. I've seen people join them at the top and make bunting. It's completely up to you. If you have found this tutorial helpful, then please do give me a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to my channel. Do let me know in the comments below how you get on. You can find me also on Facebook or Instagram as Mary Matthews Handmade, and I will put the link down below. But have fun, and I do hope to see you next time. Bye bye for now.